Right, hello everyone, welcome back to the Golf Tech Studio. I'm down here with Pete Marsh. In today's video we're talking about my new gadget, the Hack Motion wrist sensor. We're going to talk about how I use it in lessons, how I'm going to start to use it in lessons, the 6 ranges of movement that we see, and potentially when we're looking at slices versus hitting straight, what some people do with the wrist angles and how we can correct it. So let's get into it. So hello everyone, welcome back to the Golf Tech Studio. Like I said, I'm down here with Pete Marsh.
Hello Jack.
Thanks for having me again.
Very welcome.
So, just before we start rattling through some golf shots, I want to talk you through the Hack Motion wrist sensor that I've got. You'll be able to see it on screen now. Ranges of movement, so the more interesting ones and the more useful ones for us in our golf swing. This is a perfectly flat lead wrist. You'll notice if I were to move it this way, we're going to call this extension. If I were to move it this way, we're going to call it flexion. We've also got this movement here, this way, which is radial deviation. We've also got this, which is only deviation. That's easier for you to see this way. So imagine if I have my palm up, about to shake your hand, hello mate, how you doing? If I were to raise my thumb towards my chin, head, whatever, that is radial deviation. Only deviation is going downwards in that way. And the other two movements that we've got that I'm not going to go into massive depth with today is we've got supination, which is a rotation of the forearm, which means that your palm points up to the sky, and we've got pronation, which is a rotation of the forearm, which means that your palm points down to the ground. I'm not going to get into them today though. The main ones that we're going to talk about later on are flexion and extension. You've probably seen the likes of Dustin Johnson do stuff like this. You've probably seen the likes of Shane Lowry do a little bit like this.
Yeah, okay. Bowed and cupped.
Bowed and cupped.
Bowed and cupped.
Bowed and cupped. So you've got to think flexed is bowed, you've got to think cupped is extended. Are there any other buzzwords that people use for it?
I don't like buzzwords.
I know. We need to create a universal language, don't we, for stuff like this?
Yeah.
So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit a shot and I'm going to extend my lead wrist. I'm going to move it this way. When I swing, you're going to notice that it's going to look a little bit like this. We might get a face that opens slightly. We might get a face that continues to stay open in that sense. Comment below which direction is this shot going to go. What we're going to see in the ball flight of this shot.
It's anybody's guess, Jack.
Anybody's guess. Considering that I've just told you that my face is open, I would hope that half the people that I teach would know what is going to go off here. So let's go extended. Not as bad as first thought, but we have missed the target to the right, unfortunately.
You've missed the target by about 43 yards.
That's quite far, isn't it?
Quite a long way. That's get another ball out.
When you're playing a course, what is 43 yard offline? Because bunkers aren't there, are they?
No. I'd always say that as a single figure player, you should be aiming for a 10% miss.
Mm-hmm.
So from 190, you'd accept 19 yards.
Yeah. Left or right?
Left or right?
Short or back?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's fair. So are you fair to say that I'm off the mark there? A little bit.
You're in the deep stuff there, yeah.
Oh yes. So some numbers for you. Again, I'll pull these up on screen. So we saw at address, I had 44 degrees of extension, which would you say is relatively normal?
Yeah.
Yeah, for someone with a pretty neutral grip,
yeah.
That's what you want to see. The problems that occurred in that golf swing, when I got to the top of my golf swing, we saw 54 degrees of extension. So despite starting with a little bit, I've gone into what Pete's done here. We've seen a lot of cupping here. A lot of cupping, which in turn opened my club face, caused me to deliver one that time. Have we got my face to path on there, Pete? Can we see it?
Yeah, face to a path, or face to target is 7 degrees open. Your path was only 1 degree out to in, so it's 6 degrees to path.
Yeah, so I've got a club face of 6 degrees open. And in turn as well, I added a lot of loft to that shot.
Yeah, 25 degree launch angle. Generally speaking, you'd be launching this at what, 16, 17 degrees, yeah?
So I've added loft, I've opened that face, I've missed my target by 43.
Ball speed's dropped by 10 miles an hour as well because of that, so you're not only offline, but you're short too.
Yeah, and then when we look to this impact figure as well, we've noticed, like I said at the top, I'm 54 degrees extended, and then I'm still 18 degrees extended coming into impact. So now what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and calm that angle down. I'm going to try and go a little bit more flatter with my lead wrist, my left wrist angles. I'm going to see if it changes that ball flight positively. Fingers crossed it does, because if it gets any worse than that, Pete, I am ragging it in.
Fingers crossed.
I hope this doesn't take more than one shot as well.
You never have to have a second take, Jake, do you?
No, especially not in the Pebble Beach giveaway that we saw a couple of weeks ago. So. Right then, so calm them wrist angles down. What I'm going to try and do here is I'm not going to cup it as much. in my backswing. I'm going to try and just feel as though it's flatter and then flatter moving into a pat now. Let's see what happens to my ball flight.
Little draw.
A little draw.
Yeah.
Couldn't have dreamt it any better, you know.
Also longer.
Yeah.
So carry 191 as opposed to 165, I think the one was. Ball speeds up by 10 miles an hour. Launch angles back down to where you'd expect at 16.2.
So on that occasion, shot 1 versus shot 2, we saw 46 degrees of extension to start with, very similar to the 44 that we saw previously. Differences start to appear now on the faded horrible shot that we earlier. 54 degrees of extension at the top of my backswing. That has now changed to 36, so I have gone flatter. I've still got a bit of extension, but it's definitely flatter than what it was before. Coming into impact, we've only got 4 degrees of extension versus 18 before. So you've got to think, 18 degrees as we come to it, that first one would have looked like that. On that last occasion, I've delivered it with only 4 degrees of extension. So still perhaps a little bit lofted. You know, we said earlier I wanted to launch it about 16 and I have done.
The other interesting thing with that is, and I think it's probably instinctive for you as being a decent player, is that as you've got your club face closed, because of that wrist angle, your path has instinctively moved more to the right. You've gone into out by 4.6 as opposed to 1 degree. So that's what's helped you create the draw. It's almost like you're correcting or overcorrecting in some respects.
Me and my knowledge, perhaps knowing that, that's why I've definitely no subconsciously wanted to
Maybe
move
so.
this out.
But I do think that everybody reacts either to the face or the path. So if you instinctively change the face, then you're probably going to change the path as well.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with that. So, be all and end all, even if we're just looking at 2 parameters that this hack motion gives us, extension and flexion, if you are not in control of this currently, and a way to find out if you are or not is come for a lesson with myself, I can tell you that straight away now. If you aren't in control of it and you are hitting some wild slices, let's get in control of those wrist angles and let's hopefully start sorting out your face to path and maybe get you hitting it further, definitely get you hitting it straighter.
Sounds good.
Sounds like an alright deal, that, doesn't it?
What more do you want?
What more do you want from a golf coach, eh? You know, we can both do that, can't we? Because I'm feeling very kind again, I'm going to put a link to your stuff for this Golf Tech Studio in EFE. I appreciate you having us down here as ever. That was pretty much it for me today with the hack motion stuff. So if you've enjoyed this video and you found it useful, please make sure you're doing the usuals of liking, sharing, subscribing. I'm going to definitely be delving into more depth with this in future videos. Apart from that, have you got anything else to say?
No. Enjoy your golf.
Wicked, enjoy your golf. Because really that's the be all and end all, isn't
Of course it is. What more do you want?
A couple of beers that way around, what more could you want? Right, laters. Bye.